What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Cass here. We are here with Valente, as always, for another episode of the Bye Week Podcast. And we got a little bit of a shorter episode today. Not really a lot to talk about, but there are some burning things. Preseason has come to an end. Clash at the Castle is Saturday, and a certain punt god might be a prison god. So, let's get into that. I think Valente has the news on Matt Araiza. So go ahead. You got all this stuff for that.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people know this. Matt Araiza has been cut from the Buffalo Bills after the allegations from, not really, right now, really allegations, I don't believe. Pretty sure there's proof to it.
Yeah, there's definite.
But,
There's like self admission.
yeah, so he basically admitted to this way before, or not way before, but I guess, like, after it came out. So, I guess,
Now hold on. We
or,
don't want to.
yeah,
We don't want to get anything wrong. He admitted that he had relations with her, and she's underage, so that's at least statutory rape at
okay.
the bare minimum. So
Yeah, so it's statutory rape. Okay, anyway. So, civil lawsuit filed um, Thursday. Thursday being, I think, August 25th.
yes,
Accuses three past and currently present San Diego State University football players, including fifth round pick Matt Araiza, of gang raping a 17-year-old girl last year at an off campus party. By the way, I just want to mention real quick if this is triggering, uh, we'll put a timestamp up to like when the next segment is, and you could just skip to that if this is kind of like a trigger to some people. Um, anyway, Matt Araiza, who earned the name, and I'm pretty sure he earned the name Punt God, because
yes.
you know you see how many
Self
people get
given by
punted
Pat
at San Diego
McAfee.
State. Yeah, I mean, so he was accused of having sex with a minor outside his home.
Hmm.
Now he then admitted to having relations with her,
Yes.
which is illegal in the sense, but now it's coming out that it was way more than just sexual relations with him and her. It was two other players at San Diego State. I think Xavier Leonard and Nowlin Awalaiko.
Bums, basically.
Yeah, they're bums. And San Diego State is known for being one of the biggest party schools in the country.
In the country, yes. One of the bigger ones, yeah.
And Araiza's lawyer actually that claims that the accusation is false. And Araiza is contradicting his I guess you could say contradicting his lawyer by basically admitting to having relations with the kid,
The
who
problem
I
with
believe is still 17 right now.
the problem people are having with the admit no, she was 17 at the time when it happened. I think she's 18 now.
Okay, so this was recent.
Yeah. He was still in college when this happened.
Okay, so he was a senior, I'm
Yeah.
imagining.
I'm thinking so, yeah.
But his lawyer Kerry Armstrong believes the only reason this is coming out is because he's in the Buffalo Bills now, and he believes that Araiza didn't commit this crime when, I mean, he basically admitted to it, I guess you could say.
The problem people are having with the admission statement from Araiza is that apparently the admission statement is from the day after the party, which, if anybody has drank any alcohol in their life, if you drink a substern amount, that you could be keen to um, still being under the effects of the alcohol, which would make that confession void because he would be under substance, so they wouldn't be able to use the confession if they can if he can prove he was intoxicated at the point. That's what people are having problems with the confession.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely
It's definitely a talking point,
yeah, it's definitely a situation.
especially with
They gotta
Buffalo.
lose from the Bills. So, one of the things that kind of sucks about it is that the NFL can't do anything about it because it's something that happened to him during college. But the Buffalo Bills took it into their own hands to release him.
Yes, which also sucks because they had released the guy that's been on their team for a long time in Matt Hawk because Araiza beat him out in camp. So they're going to be looking for their next punt option, which
Yeah,
a lot of guys are going to be up on. A lot of guys are going to be out that are really good punters who are going to be on the open market because there's punting competitions going all around the league. There's a really good one going on with my favorite team in Tennessee. There's some good ones going on in Los Angeles. There's some good guys in the league nowadays. So, which gives them full more reason to have cut ties with um Matt Araiza.
yeah.
I have
Oh,
seen people.
here's something
I have
one of
seen
the
people.
students said.
I have seen people say um on Twitter that they should have immediately cut ties with Matt Araiza when they figured out about this because he was a specialist player and punters and kickers aren't that important to teams.
Oh, the kicker, no disrespect.
As as a team that majorly cares about field position, like as a team that like runs the ball a lot in Tennessee, punting matters and can be with the reason for wins and losses. And I know Valente, you feel the same way, especially last year with having a lot of y'all's offensive weapons down. Field position really matters in the league.
100%.
And if a punter can get you
You
can give your defense the offense on
you
like
can
the five,
you can right like I know Blake Gill can pin people like behind the 10 like most of his punts, and that's just a field position really matters because it sets the tone for a defense. But here's something that a student said. A student said 99% of the football players were aware of the five-person rape, so the rest of the student athletes were left wondering why nothing is being done. So this is something that all players on the football team kind of knew about.
which is crazy that because I had seen something like that too uh that it was like San Diego State was trying to cover it up.
Yeah,
So if that
it's
comes
it's very
if
possible.
if that comes out to be a case, that's going to be very bad looking for the university. But anyway, enough with Matariza. Let's not. We've spent a lot of these last few podcasts talking about rapists in the NFL, so I would prefer not not have to talk about anybody anymore.
Yeah,
Matarize is cut. Most likely, he won't play on another NFL team unless
I hope not.
major. Like even if he wins this case and they prove that and they say like he's not guilty or anything, and let like it fully turns not because I know it's civil right now, but there's been talks about it becoming a criminal case. So with everything right now is if even if it doesn't become criminal and it just stays civil and he whoever what happens and then he has to pay, even if I don't see a team with all the baggage that Matt Araiza would have after that going out and getting him.
Yeah,
Like
I don't see it either.
say
I
even
don't
it say
understand.
say even if the
He's
claims are not true, which I 100% believe they are, but even say if they weren't, That's the problem with being in a less important position. Not saying it's not as important, but it's lesser important than some other positions in the field. You One small slip up like that would give you could lose you your opportunity to play in this league, which is why it's very possible that Araiza, we might have seen the last of Araiza in just a few preseason games.
He showed. They showed he was a good punter too, and it sucks that he had to ruin that.
Maybe if he finds a way to get out of it, he can go play in one of those second division leagues. But I don't even know if they'd take him because that's just bad publicity.
I'm pretty sure the lower leagues don't care about publicity like that, but
Shoot, some of them might care. No more. Fuck, what is the saying? Bad publicity is good publicity. Any publicity is good publicity.
yeah, yeah.
So
But moving on from this, yeah, let's move on from Araizas.
yeah, we actually got some winners and losers for the preseason. If you want to get into that, and then we'll do classic ass and get out of here.
Yeah,
Okay, so we got many different winners and losers. So preseason's been very up and down. We've had some guys do really well in the first 2 weeks, and then drastically disprove their stock. And I know a lot of people are going to expect George Pickens to be on this list. He is not on the list because from what I've seen, a lot of people talk about. I was going to talk about this earlier to you, Valentine, but I was wanting to save it for the podcast. Apparently, George Pickens got very pieced up in the last game against the teams the Steelers were playing in their last game. Apparently, he did not perform well at all. So,
right.
yeah, that's what it was. Because Jeff Okudah, their former first round pick out of Ohio State, was a massive lockdown for George Pickens, from what I've heard.
I wouldn't say that.
That's what I've heard so far, and that he played really well in coverage against George Pickens. But that's why, see, I got a lot of these from different websites, and me and Valente are going to list our opinions on them. And a lot of these I didn't see George Pickens on, so which is why I'm taking context clues and guessing that his performance against Jeff Okudah is the reason he's not on some of these preseason winners list. That's my opinion. My context clues. Anyway, okay. Preseason winners, vet quarterbacks that are in competitions. For example, Baker Mayfield, who clinched the win over Sam Darnold with Sam's injury. We have Geno Smith, who clinched the win over Drew Lock. And we also have Tyrod Taylor, who was doing very well, but went down with an injury, so he wouldn't be one to talk about. Joe Flacco was another key guy that was doing really well in New York, had a bad week in week 3. So Baker would be a vet competition guy that won. Marcus is set to be the starter. So that would have meant, but I don't think there was any doubt for them to start Desmond at any point. But I guess they're very much talking about Baker and
Mitch.
yeah, Baker, Mitchell Trubisky. Yeah, thank you. Baker, Mitchell Trubisky, and Geno.
That's it. Oh yeah, Geno.
So Baker, Trubisky, and Geno would be the vet QBs that won their jobs. Anyway, so overall,
Yeah, I think Geno definitely deserved that job from the job.
but I could see why they went out and got it. Drew's still a young guy. You could argue that he wasn't really given a chance to succeed in Denver. So, but now it proved that Geno beat him out. Who, for years, Geno was very much looked at as a very underutilized guy. Even in New York, Geno was drafted to be the #1 guy in New York. Had some injury problems. Of course, there's the iconic DeBrickashaw Ferguson fucking knocking his jaw off. So that's a thing that happened. Was kind of one of the main reasons that led to Geno's exit in New York was DeBrickashaw Ferguson knocking him into next Tuesday. So that was that. But he made a return to the league, I believe, last year, right, for Seattle.
Yep. When Russell Wilson went down with his hand injury.
He made his return to the NFL. We hadn't seen him in a couple of years. Came back, full-time starter. Actually did perform well towards the end of that season. The Seattle decided to keep him through the preseason, re-sign him. They secured Drew Lock from the trade. And overall, not a bad preseason for Mr. Geno Smith, Baker, or Mitchell Trubisky. Now, the first preseason loser, kind of coincides with Geno, is Drew Lock. So, I don't know, as Drew Lock, where do you look at this here? Because this could be a very key moment for Drew, and this is something I've been thinking about. With the USFL showing interest in getting guys long term, because I've seen they've been talking about how a lot of guys from the USFL left and signed new contracts with the NFL guys and might not be able to be on the USFL teams the next year. I've seen some things about USFL wanting to sign guys to longer contracts because they got renewed for a couple of more seasons with multiple different networks. So with
Yeah,
all,
and Drew Lock is. If you can go out there and throw 3 interceptions in a preseason game,
yeah, you don't need to even be considered starting material.
exactly. And he was the starter too. I'm pretty sure he was the starter for that game. So he got Tyler Lockett in there. Not sure about DK, but he had Tyler Lockett in there.
But yeah, uh, I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody like a Drew Lock be one of the first guys that gets signed for massive contracts for the USFL, because if the USFL are wanting to keep guys, it's going to be guys like a Drew Lock that they're able to keep. Guys that really aren't going to be able to hold jobs in the NFL as backups
Yeah.
that they're going to be able to keep for long term deals. All right, you got anything else to add for
Yes.
that one?
Uh, Drew Lock doesn't deserve to be a starter in any league. What?
I don't know if I agree with that.
No, but if you can go out there in the preseason and do what he did and fucking shit the bed like that, uh, you just don't deserve to be a starter at all. I
Was
don't
that
care.
week 1 or week 2?
This week, Friday. It's Friday.
Oh, then he was probably already told that Geno was the starter.
Nope. They figured that out Saturday. But you don't want to go out there and fucking shit the bed anyway. You know what I mean? You
No,
can
but
go out
Drew's
there and
always
show
been a
what
guy
you.
like that, especially when that happened to him in Denver when he got cut. I mean, not when he got cut, when he got benched. His whole perspective switched when he got benched. He wasn't the cocky guy that we saw when he first got his first season.
Hmm.
When Drew first got drafted, he was much more cocky, and then when he got benched, it seemed like that whole like aggressive drive in him. He looked pissed to be in that situation in Denver when he got cut. I mean, when he got benched.
Yeah.
So, next win would be mobile rookie quarterbacks So looking at guys like Anthony Brown, Malik Willis, they even mentioned Sam Howell in here with the Washington Commanders. When looking at all those different guys, you see flashes of talent. Uh, Anthony Brown is kind of the guy that really comes out of left field for me as an undrafted free agent out of the University of Oregon. Anthony Brown is a guy that can be a massive playmaker with his legs, which is why I think it's going to be able to keep him on a roster. And it's something that Baltimore has been very consistent with what they want as a backup. With keeping guys on the rosters like RG3, like Tyler Huntley, like a Anthony Brown. They wanted to be able to have a quarterback that can run Lamar Jackson's offense. And those are guys like Anthony Brown. That I don't think there is a more clear comp in the NFL than Anthony Brown and Lamar Jackson as far as athleticism goes, personally for me. There's not a clearer comp. Now, Anthony Brown is nowhere near as far as passing the football to the amount advanced that Lamar is. As much as people want to talk about Lamar passing the football, he's not. He's a advanced passer of the football. When you have a guy like Anthony Brown, who's with the very simple system with passing the football at Oregon, he's not going to be used like that if it came down to it. And I think it's going to be very interesting if Baltimore chooses not to keep Anthony Brown where he ends up going, because I think he's done enough to definitely get himself a roster spot somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, now we got next is the AFC South rookies. So predominantly in this, what I saw was Dameon Pierce for the running back for the Houston Texans, who played incredibly well in Week 3, and then
Yeah.
wide
He earned the
receiver
starting spot too.
Traylon Burks, who debatably, and I know this is uh woulda, coulda, shoulda, but debatably you can argue Traylon should have had 3 touchdowns in all three of the touchdown in all three of the preseason games. He had the 60-yard bomb that Malik missed him on in the first game. He had the drag route very similar to the touchdown he had in Week 3. It's almost the exact same play when you look at it. It's damn near the exact same play. They ran it, and this time Malik found him. Malik missed him the first time in Week 2. So I guess they're bringing that in with Traylon. Plus, Traylon had a 35-yard, a 3-reception, 35-yard, 1 touchdown game with 3 targets. So he caught all balls that were thrown in his direction. So things are looking up for members of the AFC South. Next for losers would be Kenny Galladay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Kenny Galladay got a bag and decided he didn't want to play anymore. That's what I'm. That's basically where I'm at with the Kenny Galladay situation.
So Kenny Galladay is probably like one of the biggest like kind of fall offs I've seen. And
He's Luis Pereira if Luis Pereira was a Hall of Famer.
okay, I don't know if Kenny Galladay is a Hall of Famer, but
Okay. Let me rephrase that. He's That's not what I meant to say. I meant to say he's Luis Pereira if Luis Pereira was like a elite boxer. Because I would have argued in Detroit, Kenny Galladay was an elite receiver.
you're the only guy getting passed. Never mind, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, Marvin Jones.
Oh yeah, true.
who arguably you could say was the number one receiver in Detroit because he's even done better now since being in Jacksonville
Yeah.
than Kenny
Kenny
Galladay.
Galladay had like one of the biggest fall offs in like camp I think I've seen because like the struggling shit it's not recent. Like it's at least a month deep. He was just struggling for like a whole month at least. I'm pretty sure I've seen.
Yeah, he's had some definite problems. But from the outhouse to the pit house, the next guy who actually might have really shown that he can play in this league. There's been different downs. Former second round pick Denzel Mims has played very exceptionally well in the preseason and has lookingly drawn some interest from other NFL squads. Um, he apparently, um, as for his trade from the New York Jets, sometime last week, played the third, excuse me, played the third preseason game, played very well when that had over 100 yards. So now things are looking up for Denzel Mims, and I think arguably that receiver, that big body, could be a definite issue if developed right on a team with a solid quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's it for winners and losers. So if you can pull up the Clash of the Castle card, we'll take our predictions and we'll get out of here.
Yeah. Clash at the Castle 2022. Brought to you by. Who's it brought to you by this time?
Uh,
Snickers? No. Uh,
Mars bars because we're in England. I
brought
mean,
to you by nothing as of right now.
fuck, it's gonna be goddamn Snickers.
Yeah, it probably will be Snickers.
Brought to you
Sneakers. Okay. Same card
same
as
card.
we showed last week.
If
Roman
it's
Reigns versus Drew McIntyre.
uh something shady goes down. That's my
Some
prediction.
shitty goes on.
Yeah, something shady goes down. Roman doesn't leave with
Shady
both
goes down.
backs. He doesn't leave with both belts. I don't think there's a possibility of that happening.
Cool, cool, cool. Younger brother Alexa Bliss and Oscar versus Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky.
Bailey, Dakota Kai, and Io
Rollins,
Sky.
Rollins. Yep, sure. Riddle and Rollins. I'm going.
Rollins.
Yeah. Gunta versus Sheamus with the
Be-
Rolling Boots. Oh,
match of
let
the
me
night,
rephrase that.
but Walter wins.
Let me rephrase this. Gunta with Ludwig Kaiser versus Sheamus with the Brawling Brutes for the Intercontinental Championship.
But yes, match of the night, but Walter wins.
They're gonna literally beat the living heck out of each other.
Yes, I've been saying that nonstop.
And Liv Morgan and Shayna Baszler for the Women's Championship.
Baszler.
I got Liv Morgan.
I've got Baszler to set up Ronda and Baszler,
Ooh, that would be cool. I still got Liv Morgan though.
which is why I think they did that thing with Ron. I know you don't
He's
really
known
watch
how
Smack.
to get things. He used to be a killer.
Yeah, I think that's why they did that. Yeah, did you see that?
Yeah.
That's why they did that because they're gonna have Shayna beat
Before
Liv.
we dip out, I kind of want to talk about Shayna Baszler's like MMA career.
I mean, her shit MMA career.
Yeah, it was shit. But you know, I'm looking at some of the people she's faced. I can see why it was shit.
What did she face like really good people?
Like she fought Amanda Nunes. Um, like way before Amanda Nunes was even good. She still lost. Um, Beth Correa, from when she's fought, lost. But she's got some pretty good wins. She's pretty sure all of her wins except for one. Okay, all of her wins are by submission, except for one by knockout and one by decision.
Yeah, Baszler.
but she does have a very, very what would you call it? She has a very um
Aggressive.
no, she has a very bad habit of getting knocked the fuck out. And she also exhibition record, if we're gonna count that. She fought Juliana Pena, who literally just lost to him at Hernandez, and she got tapped out. So she lost to both women's champions, both the last two women's champions. So that's kind of cool. Say you got tapped out by one of the two of the best in the world right now. So
Okay, so we talked about Baszler. We talked about Araiza. We talked about winners and losers. Guys, Castle. So let's get the hell out of here and let's go to fucking sleep. Shit. Bye, guys.